first of all, what I want to do is I want to replace this 200 newtons with two other forces. So what I want to replace it with is a line that's going in this direction and a line that's going in this direction. Yeah? Now, can anyone tell me what those numbers are? It's going to be 200. Now, is this, let's say this is our angle, right? Let's call this our angle, theta. Is it opposite the angle, or is it adjacent the angle?
Opposite.
Opposite. Now, we have this rule called SOHCAHTOA. If it's opposite, we want to use sine. If it's adjacent, we want to use cos. Okay, so this is going to be 200. Because it's opposite, it's going to be 200 sine 45, which we know is going to be 200 times 0.707. This one here is also going to be, well, it's going to be, first of all, it's adjacent, so it's going to be 200 cos 45, which is going to be 200 times 0.707. Right, we have that advantage because it's a common angle. We can just learn common angles, and so we don't need to type it in the calculator. You can still type it in the calculator, it's a fine habit, but sometimes it's helpful to be able to think, what's 70% of 200 going to be close to? Is it going to be about 140, 141 point something? Yeah, could someone give me the answer?
Yeah, 141 point.
141 point?
42.
Okay. Now, when we draw up these angles, what we have to do is we do what's called, we join them tip to tail. We go through all of the things and we just add them all up tip to tail. Now, that's what we can get is we get something that looks like this. We have 140 going this way plus 140. We'll start there. So 140 going up, 141, 141, and then another 150. And so although we're going up, we'll go down here, down 75. Now, this diagonal is our resultant. But what is the value of that resultant? If we went up 141, how much do we need to come down here for it to be equal to 0? So we went up 141, we went down 75. How much more do we have to come down? 66.42. Yeah? Okay. Same thing here. If we went across 41, alright, 42 now. If we went across 141 and we went across 150, how much do we have to come back to be where we started?
Add them together. 291.42.
So 291.42. Okay. So now that we have that, with the resultant, and this is for resultants, not equilibriants, but we're just going to focus on resultants because that's what this question's about. The resultant of those forces, let me just check that we haven't missed a force. We've got 1, 2, 3, and this is actually 2 forces. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Good. Okay, when we have our resultant, we can ignore all this stuff now, and we just have a triangle. So our resultant, R is going to equal so we've now gone, we've done our first step, we've broken up our triangle, our diagonal into verticals and horizontals. We've added up our vertical and horizontals to get these values here. We're up to step 3, we're going to use Pythagoras' theorem to find the magnitude. R equals the square root of what?
Oh, alright. I know what the answer is.
Are we happy with that? Are you happy with that as a concept?
Yeah, sure.
Can someone tell me the answer?
298.89.
Okay, 298. Are we happy with that as a plausible possible answer?
Yeah.
It is the hypotenuse must be bigger. Yeah? So if it's smaller than one of those two video values, then we're not happy. Okay, so what was it? 298.89. Okay. Is that bigger than both the other values? Yep. Okay, good, we're happy. Now, we need to figure out an angle. Now, the angle is always equal to tan, the inverse of tan, with the opposite over the adjacent. What value is the opposite in this case?
66.42.
66.42, and it is over. The adjacent is
291.42.
Okay, can someone hit me with that value?
That is 12.83.
Now I'm happy in this case to round that off and say 13 degrees. Does that look like it's about 13 degrees?
Yeah.
No.
I'd say so.
Now, I haven't drawn it to scale, right? But I can live with it. I can live with it as being a plausible answer. That's my answer. The resultant is, right, 298.89 at 13 degrees. And I'll often actually write 13 degrees like that. Yeah, just to make it really clear what my angle is. Now, I have to write units. If I don't write